also.
Okay, so we're going to do segmental sitting. Start by just closing your eyes, sitting in your chair, taking a few breaths in and out, connecting to your body and your bones. Feel your feet on the floor, supporting your legs. And make sure your feet are resting flat on the floor. And then feel the back of your thighs on your chair. And the base of your pelvis and your sits bones. As you exhale, just feel yourself supported. Let yourself rest into the back of your chair. Taking a few more breaths. If it's comfortable, let your hands rest on your thighs, but it's not mandatory. And then scoot a little forward in your chair so your back is away from the backrest. Always dropping into the skeletal support of your pelvis. And today we're going to really learn how to let your pelvis and your spine support you so that your back muscles can get a much needed rest. So let yourself just slowly and easily slouch. This is your physical therapy approved slouch for the day. And then bring yourself back up to what seems upright to you. And again, this time as you slouch, feel the likelihood that your pelvis is rolling. I call this rolling backwards. Your spine curves, your shoulders drop forward, your head drops down. Exhale. Let all the stress that's accumulated through the day just go. And then softly from your pelvis, begin to let it roll forward and bring you upright. Now, in teaching almost every patient I've ever seen this, there are a couple of strategies that people use. So as you're sitting upright, maintaining a certain length in your spine, you'll notice I don't call it straight because our spines are not straight. Let your whole body lean a little forward. And then let your whole body lean backwards. Do that a couple more times, a little forward and a little backward. And then kind of rock yourself forward and backward, smaller and smaller, until you find your neutral. The tendency for some people is to always be a little backward. And you can kind of tell if you're backward. Like if you have a sense of where your shoulders and your hips are, of course you want your shoulders over your hips. But you can also tell if you're leaning backward because you'll have to engage your abdominal muscles more. Right? So we want your abdominal muscles to be relaxed for this practice as much as possible. So then when you've found your neutral, imagine how your spine is resting inside of you. And you may or may not know that you have 24 vertebrae. You have 5 vertebrae in your low back, your lumbar vertebrae. 12 vertebrae in your middle back, your thoracic spine, where your ribs are attached. and then 7 vertebrae in your cervical spine, your neck. So what I want you to try to do, either in actuality or more likely in your imagination, is to begin to let your pelvis roll backwards and letting your spine go into the slump, starting from the lowest vertebrae, as if you are slouching 1 vertebrae at a time. For some of you, it might be helpful to count to 24 vertebrae. For others of you, you'll just move slowly into that slouch. Go at your own pace, with your own timing, but slow is good. When you get to the bottom, again, take another exhale, as long as it's safe. For some of you, fully slouching may not feel safe for your back or your neck, so just occasionally I have a patient who only goes maybe an inch or 2 backward. So go to the level that feels safe for you. And when you fully exhaled at the bottom, then the more important step is how do you put your spine back together so that it can support your muscles that have been overworking. So you're going to feel those sits bones in your pelvis. Begin to slowly roll your pelvis forward and let your pelvis guide each vertebrae back into place. In your lumbar vertebrae, you'll start to sense the forward curve of the low back. The thoracic spine is longer, goes all through the middle and between your shoulder blades. And then you'll get up to your neck, and the very last thing will be your head. And just repeat this several times. Slowly going down, really letting those muscles that have just been so habituated into working so hard to hold you up and protect you and keep you safe, can they stay soft as you sense the structure, the support, the sturdiness of each vertebrae coming into place, holding you upright, starting at the base of your pelvis. And then keeping your eyes closed in this relaxed state, just take a break, lean back in your chair, give everything a rest, and just listen. How's the body doing? Did you do enough? Did you do too many? Is your back or neck sore? Just listening and resting and breathing and enjoying taking time for yourself, for your health and your well-being. And then again, scoot forward. Bring your back away from the back of your chair. And just a couple more times, letting your pelvis roll back, sinking 1 vertebrae at a time. And this time, as your pelvis rolls forward, also see if you can notice not only do those sits bones roll, but there's a downward pressure. The pelvis and the sits bones press downward, and what then goes down lifts each vertebrae lightly in place, each upon the next. Breathing, noticing if there's any unnecessary tension in your jaw. And just stay upright this last time. The other thing, next time you practice this, is just to notice how much do you guide this movement with your shoulders, and really trying to let that upper back, those shoulders, letting them come along for the ride. Our shoulders are often a highly habituated area for our version, how we've trained ourselves for quote-unquote good posture. So the more they can be supported by the spine and the pelvis, hopefully the better your neck will feel. So I encourage you to practice this 3 times a day, repeating it maybe 3 to 5 times. The first time is just kind of a hello, how am I doing? And then maybe a little slower and a little slower. It's just a lovely way to drop in to your pelvis, to your grounding, and to your self-care.